Hi, welcome to Sandeep Sir's Amazing Biology. Today we are going to discuss one amazing point from reproduction in plants, that is double fertilization in angiosperms. It is the characteristic feature of angiosperms only because double fertilization is taking place in case of angiospermic plant only. Before going directly to double fertilization, we will discuss fertilization. So what is fertilization? It is the union of male and female gametes. The union of male and female gametes is called as fertilization. So, male gamete and female gamete, they both get united to form zygote, and the process is called as fertilization. Now the zygote develops into embryo, and embryo afterwards grows into a new young one of organism. So it is the basic process of fertilization. But we have to discuss one typical or special type of fertilization which is taking place only in case of angiospermic plant, and that process is called as double fertilization. So why it is called as double fertilization? Double fertilization. So, in case of angiosperms, fertilization takes place twice. That is 2 times. So it is called as double fertilization. In case of angiosperms, instead of happening once, the fertilization will take place 2 times, and therefore it is called as double fertilization. So how the fertilization takes place 2 times, we are going to discuss it right now in the process of double fertilization. Okay, let's discuss the process of double fertilization. Okay, so here we have drawn the necessary part of the ovule. We know that after pollination, the ovules will reach on the stigma. So it is the carpel, it is the stigma, style, and ovary. Here ovules are present inside the ovary. So here we are drawing only one ovule just to understand the process. Here is the pollen grain which is received on the stigma after pollination. Here the pollen grain will produce a pollen tube. A pollen tube passes through the stigma, style, reach into the ovary, and finally they will enter inside the ovule. Here you have to remember the process that male gametes are non-motile and they need to get transported through the tube. This process is called as siphonogamy. Siphonogamy is the transfer or transport of non-motile male gametes through the pollen tube. So, with the help of pollen tube, the male gametes will reach up to the ovule, and the next process will take place inside the ovule. Now, let's go inside the ovule and discuss the process of double fertilization. Okay, so it is the part of the ovule which shows the embryo sac. It contains egg apparatus, secondary nucleus and antipodal cells. Here, egg cell, it is the female gamete. Ovule is covered by one or two integuments. We have shown integuments also here. Now what happens? The pollen tube normally enters inside the ovule through the pore which is designed specially for entry of the pollen tube. It is the micropyle. Through the micropyle, here the pollen tube is entering inside the ovule. Pollen tube carries two male gametes. We have already discussed the formation of male gametes inside the pollen tube during the development of male gametophyte. Okay, so pollen tube brings two male gametes inside the embryo sac, inside the ovule. Now what happens? The synergids get degenerated and they produce a liquid. As pollen tube is very long and delicate structure, the pollen tube will absorb the liquid developed after the degeneration of the synergids, and because of the needle-like filiform apparatus present surrounding the egg apparatus, the tip of the pollen tube get burst open. That means the tip of the pollen tube ruptures and it will releases two male gametes inside the embryo sac. Now here is the confusing state that there is only one female gamete, that is egg cell, but two male gametes are released by the pollen tube. Now what is going to happen with these two male gametes? It is the point of interest. Okay, now let's go into the process. One of the male gametes get united with the egg cell. Remember that egg cell is the haploid structure. The egg cell get united with first male gamete. Male gamete is also haploid structure. Now the union of male and female gamete, we already know that the process is called as fertilization, but here the fertilization is taking place two times. Therefore, the union of egg cell with the male gamete is called as first fertilization. It is the first fertilization. It is the normal type of fertilization, and as union of male and female gametes takes place, it is also called as syngamy. Syng means union and gamy means gametes. That means union of gametes is called as syngamy. After the first fertilization, it will result into formation of a zygote. Zygote is two young structure, because young plus young, it will now becomes two young. Zygote afterwards grows into the embryo, which is also diploid one. Okay, that means after first fertilization, embryo get produced. Now comes the second fertilization. Here the remaining male gamete get fuses with the secondary nucleus. Here secondary nucleus, it carries two haploid nuclei, therefore it is diploid structure. This diploid secondary nucleus get united with the remaining male gamete. It is haploid one. Now it is considered as a second fertilization. It is called as second fertilization, but if you observe carefully, here instead of 2, 3 nuclei get fused with each other. That means 2 nuclei from secondary nucleus and 1 from male gamete, and union of these 3 nuclei are considered as triple fusion. The triple fusion or second fertilization results into formation of primary endosperm nucleus. Primary endosperm nucleus, and it is 3N, that means triploid structure. Always remember that primary endosperm nucleus is a triploid, and because of this, the endosperm which is developed from the primary endosperm nucleus is also 3N. That means it carries 3 sets of chromosomes. Okay? Now, embryo is the product of first fertilization, endosperm is the product of second fertilization, and here you can see ovule is always covered by the integuments after fertilization. These integuments will develop into seed coat, and now comes the interesting thing, the embryo, endosperm and covering seed coat, they will develop into seed. That means after double fertilization, ovule get converted into seed. It is the whole process of double fertilization which is in the same diagram. It is the combination of a diagram and flow chart which is showing the process of double fertilization. Such kind of diagrams are still not there on Google also. You can search it and confirm it. If you have to find such kind of flow chart and diagrams and make the process of learning biology easy, you have to follow the Sandeep sir's biology. Thanks a lot.